Hi, I'm Victoria Seed, and I am coming to you from the Vesta Approach in Manchester in the UK. The Vesta Approach, or I really, I help women who are living with somebody else's addiction. So I work with mums, with partners, with daughters, and I help them to live their most happy and peaceful life regardless, alongside their loved one's addiction. And the other part of my work is to have the best chance possible of motivating your loved one to make a change. And that is what I do with my clients. And my clients are fantastic. They're completely transforming their lives, and you could too. So if you want to come and join my community of women who are just like you, then please come along to Facebook. You can search Not My Addiction in the search bar. Or you can type this link in here, which is facebook.com/groups/, not my addiction, and come and join the lovely community of women posting there every day. We have a monthly cuppa and connection session, and we're growing that group, and it's lovely and engaged, and people are realizing they are not on their own. So please come along and join us there. Now, today's session, and every Friday I put a session out around 10 minutes long on a topic related to addiction and family recovery. And this week is all about the strategies that your loved one is probably using to avoid recovery. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so first of all, you might find, or you might know, or your loved one might be self-diagnosing, whatever it is, whether there's a diagnosis or not, that your loved one is focusing on mental health or neurodiversity. So I can't tell you at the moment how much of an increase there has been in individuals, in my clients whose loved ones are saying that they have ADHD. I'm not disputing that at all. Some people have had diagnoses. I don't know where they're from. I don't know who the people are that have diagnosed. I'm not doubting people. We know there's a correlation between ADHD and addiction. However, if there are any mental health problems, if there is any neurodiversity at all, using their substance is not going to help. We know people can self-medicate. We know that, we understand that. But as soon as these things come to the surface around mental health, around neurodiversity, what we then encourage is, okay, I hear what you're saying. I love you and I care about you, but we've got to get the right support in place. And the key issue that you're experiencing at the moment is your alcohol or drug use. So let's address that. And then we can address this over here as well, either at the same time or, I know from working in services, rightly or wrongly, what will often happen is that people cannot receive treatment for mental health, for example, until they've got the addiction at a level that can be where the mental health can be assessed. Now we know with addiction that mental health can come before or after. Obviously, if there's sleep deprivation, if there is the brain adapting to the drug, coming down, hangovers, and all of that, we know that that is going to make people feel anxious and depressed and stressed. Okay, so we've got to deal with the addiction. So if your loved one's going over here and focusing on the ADHD or the mental health, we need to steer them back over here to deal with the addiction, which is the thing that's impacting them and you the most. Okay, that was number one. Number two, they may well be using temptations, saying things like, no, we'll change, I love you, I'll change, I promise, I won't do it again, I won't do it again. But then it doesn't change, does it? Or threats. to hurt themselves or others. So this is tricky, and I am never going to say if your loved one threatens to to suicide or to hurt somebody else that you don't listen and you don't do something about it. So if somebody says that, I will be ringing the police and an ambulance and saying, listen, you know, we've got to get you some help here if you are suicidal. And the way to ask somebody if they are feeling that way is to say, okay, I hear what you're saying. Have you got a plan? And take, you know, and see if that's planned out. Then we've got to get them the appropriate help. Okay. So when we hear that, and a lot of my clients are hearing that, they've been hearing it for years. Okay. And that their loved one hasn't taken their own life. And I'm not saying that that's never going to happen. I would never say that. But what we got to do if people are feeling like that again is get the right help and support, because often it is manipulation. Okay. I'm not going to say 100% it is. I'm never going to say that, but I've heard it for 20 years where people are saying, if you do this, if you stop me taking drugs, if you throw me out of the house, I'm going to kill myself. Okay. Now, very, very tricky ground to navigate, but you're not therapists, or most of you aren't. You are not suicide interventionists. You are not mental health practitioners. And even if you are with your own family, it can be difficult to deal with this. So get the right help and support in place. Insist that they're going to GP. Take them with you. Set a boundary around that. You know, this is really impacting everybody around you. We need to get you some help in order that we are all safe and well. Okay. Easier said than done, I know, but that is what we need to be doing. Number 3, blaming you. Oh, and just on mental health as well, there's no drug or alcohol illicitly taken that is going to help with the mental health. So regardless of what they're saying to you, don't go down that path with them. You got to stay here and stand your ground and be like, okay, if you've got mental health, let's sort this out. Okay. Number 3, blaming you or others instead of taking any responsibility or accountability for their actions. I'm sure you've heard this. I've got a few clients at the moment where their loved ones are like, yeah, well, it's all your fault. I'm like this. And if you hadn't done this in my childhood, then you blah blah blah, you care about everybody else more than me, and all of this stuff. And that is emotional abuse. Okay. And you don't have to sustain that. So when you're hearing this torrent of abuse, withdraw from it. Set your boundaries, say, listen, I'm here to help you. I love you, care about you, but I can't have this abuse. So I'm going to give you a day or whatever it is to think about it, and then we'll have another conversation because my focus is getting you the help that you need. Okay, so don't get entrenched in. I've got 3 phones here. Text messages, WhatsApp conversations, abusive phone calls, any of that. Their drug use, their alcohol use is not down to you. As an adult, that is their choice that they are making. Okay. It is not you. If they've had a traumatic childhood, chances are, you know, that isn't your fault either. There might be some things from childhood that have happened that have impacted on them. But I've worked with a lot of children and a lot of families, and people still have a choice about how they choose to live their lives. If people didn't have that choice, I wouldn't do the work I do because I believe people can choose change. Okay, so hold that hope and don't take any shit. You don't need to. 4, withdrawing from everyone around them to avoid people interfering with their use. So we see this a lot, and sadly, you know, this can be due to stigma, this can be due to shame, or it can just be due to the fact that they just don't want anyone getting in the way of their substance use. And I've seen this many, 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 many times. So I guess what you can do here is just check in with them, send messages, tell them you love them, ask them what they need. You know, try and think of things that you can do together to get them out of the house. as it's quite often what I recommend is do things in public, go to the zoo, go to a park, go for a walk, go shopping, whatever it is that you've enjoyed together in the past, minus the alcohol or drugs. Plan those things in. Because you'll also find if there is any tension, that when you're in that public place, you're not at any risk then of any kickoffs either. Okay, if you live with them, that's another matter, but you can still do that as well. Number 5, lastly, is taking advantage of your kindness or passivity, lack of boundaries, and assertiveness. So, this is what I work on with my clients. You have got to ask for what you need, and that involves setting boundaries, assertiveness skills, building confidence, which is probably the hardest thing that I have to do with my clients because it's a skill, this stuff. You're not born with it. And we need confidence in all areas of life. So when we're worn down by somebody else's alcohol or drug use, it's very, very difficult to build up ourselves back up so that we can start layering on the building blocks to influence that change in your loved one's addiction. You can't change them, but you can influence it. Trust me, because I see this all the time. So let's have a quick recap. Number 1, focusing on mental health or neurodiversity, but avoiding dealing with the addiction. Number 2, using temptations or threats to hurt themselves or others to put you off asking about their use. Number 3, blaming you or others instead of taking any responsibility or accountability for their actions. Number 4, withdrawing from everybody around them to avoid interference with their use. And number 5, taking advantage of your kindness, passivity, lack of boundaries, or assertiveness. So, is it time to do things differently? If so, I can help and I offer free, friendly chats and conversations about your situation. Just DM me, send me a message, come and join the group, Not My Addiction, if you're not in there already. And, realize that we're on the run up to the Christmas holidays now. You're not alone, and you can certainly put things in place now to change things. Okay, I'm going to go. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.